Hello and welcome to Room and Board, your first step into the world of board games. I'm Sebastian and I'm joined here today by my co-host Jena. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to talking about some fun games. How about you, Sebastian?
I'm excited too. So we've got some great games to talk about today. We'll be looking at some fun party games that are quick to learn and are sure to liven up your next gathering. Without any further ado, let's look at our first game. Here are the board basics.
All right, our first game today is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, designed by Toby Ho and published by Grey Fox Games. In Deception, 4 to 12 players take on the roles of detectives investigating a murder in Hong Kong. One player will take on the role of the forensic scientist, providing the clues to the detective about how the murder occurred. But there's a twist. The murderer is hiding amidst the detectives.
Yeah, so at the start of the game, players are dealt a secret role card, telling them if they are the murderer, a normal investigator, or even a forensic scientist. Once everybody knows their roles, the player will secretly indicate to the forensic scientist a murder weapon card and a clue card in front of them, which they use in the murder. It is then the forensic scientist's job to communicate these two cards to the rest of the investigators, not by talking, but by providing hints via the vague information on the murder scene tiles.
The investigators will discuss the information given, looking at each other's cards and building cases against each other. Each investigator has one guess, and if they can guess the correct murder weapon and clue, then the investigators win. If all the investigators run out of their guesses, then the murderer gets away with the crime. The game has plenty of murder weapons and clues, along with new roles and events for more advanced players.
Now it's time for our room review, where we give our own impressions of the game. Jena, what did you think about Deception?
I thought
Did
it
you
was a
enjoy the
really,
game?
yeah, I did enjoy it. It was really interesting because I feel like a lot of us have played Clue and other like murder mystery games like that. But I thought it was a different take on it because you get to look at the other people's clues and the murder weapons and things like that. And so you have to think about it more strategically than in a game like Clue.
Yeah, I agree. When we were playing, I loved how we could see each other's stuff, and it made it more tension driven. Like you were
Yep,
accusing me, I was accusing you. But,
yeah, yeah.
how did you
We had
interact
some
with other
beef.
players? Yeah,
Um,
big beef.
we had beef. No, it was pretty good. It was interesting having one of our friends play as the forensic scientist, so they kind of got to control what clues were taken away. It was random what was added and what else we could figure out, but it was just interesting. And yeah, there was a little tension. We might not be friends after this. I'm just kidding. It was super fun to play with everybody, and it was a good game. I would play it again for sure.
Yeah, me too.
All right. With that, it's time to move on to our next game. Here's the board basics for Tsuro.
So Zero is an elegant but often hilarious board game designed by Tom McCurry and published by Cantaloupe Games. Zero sees 2 to 8 players compete in a last man standing battle, swooping around the board game trying to eliminate each other. Players each choose a dragon pawn that they place on the edge of the board, then draw 3 tiles from the deck. On your turn, you'll place a tile in front of your dragon, which will move your dragon in some way based on the swooping line. The line then connects your dragon to other tiles.
When you play your tile, other dragons may end up moving as well, sending them in unexpected directions. Also, your line may connect to pre-existing tiles, turning your dragon's quick jaunt into an untold odyssey towards hope or even doom. After you play your tile, you'll draw from the tile deck to replace it, and then it's the next player's turn.
A player gets eliminated when a dragon gets sent off the board, or even 2 dragons collide. Both players are eliminated. The last dragon standing is the winner. You can guide your dragon along the tight, twisty path to victory. Oh, can you guide your dragon along the tight, twisty path to the victory? Play Zero to find out.
The Majestic Dragons of Tsuro will now get the two-room review from yours truly. Get it? Two-room? Huh, Sebastian? So what did you think of this game? What stood out to you?
I pretty much enjoyed the game, but that pun, Jena? No.
Ouch.
The game was pretty fun. It went pretty quick, and it was pretty fun that you didn't know where each player was going. So, are you heading to doom? Heading to victory?
It was probably also pretty amusing to watch me fail every round we played. I just died almost immediately. So.
Hey, I tried to help you with that, but
yeah,
other players wanted to target you.
Yeah, really unfair. So all these games are making us have beef. No, just kidding. How did you interact with other players in the game?
Games. I interacted with the other players by either helping them or, sometimes you just gotta backstab them. Make sure they head out of the board.
Yeah, how did you plan out your moves and what was your strategy in backstabbing?
So as you can see, the lines on the board, I would look at the cards I have and visualize the path I wanted to. Am I gonna make a player get out, or am I gonna make the safe way to an end where I am gonna win?
Yeah, and
how about
obviously,
you?
I like to think that I was planning ahead, but obviously not, because somehow I died right away every time. So honestly, I'm just gonna blame it on everyone else. So it's not my fault. So. But yeah, really fun game overall. I would definitely play it again and hopefully get better at it.
Yeah, I would too.
Awesome.
I enjoyed that game very much. Thankfully, our next game doesn't have a sense of humor. Let's hear the board basics of Gloom.
Gloom is a uniquely dreary card game about storytelling and sadness, designed by Keith Baker and published by Atlas Games. The most striking thing about Gloom is its use of clear plastic cards, which stack on top of each other to cover up certain score values and tell an ongoing story for the characters in the game. 2 of 4 players will take charge of a faltering family just desperate for despair. Your goal is to play modifier cards on your family representing the terrible things that happen to them, then enact their untimely demise while they're at their lowest.
On your turn, you get 2 plays, with which you can play negative modifier cards on your family or even positive on other players' families. There's also untimely death cards, which you play on family members to lock in the points on your characters, as only dead characters count towards your score. Remember, in Gloom, you're trying to get the lowest score possible, like a much more depressing version of golf.
There are also event cards, which you can play to do a unique action, then discard. Once you've made your 2 plays, you draw back up to your hand limit, which is usually 5. The game ends immediately when one player's entire family has died off. The winner is the person with the lowest score among their dead characters.
Well, this has kind of put a bit of a damper on things, but I promise we'll try and lighten the mood with our room review of Gloom. Jena, how did playing Gloom make you feel?
It was really fun. I thought it was a fun kind of strategy game with a different take of like the fact that it kind of builds a story and you have to work hard to all the cards also have on the bottom, some of them have like, if you use this card, it does this to you, or you have to draw one less card or that kind of thing. So you have to think about what cards you're going to play, even if it's supposed to help your characters, it might not help you on your next turn, that kind of thing. So it was really interesting to play, and I enjoyed it. It was fun also to hear everyone build their story and the doom and demise of everybody else.
Yeah. So how did you interact with other players?
For this game, most of the beef was with John May. All of us wanted to target his family, and especially one of his characters. Was it the clown, I think?
Yeah.
We were all trying to get him into the positive numbers. So John May probably wasn't having that fun of a time, but I sure was.
So like what stood out with the game?
What was that?
What part of the game stood out to you?
I think the clear cards, like we kind of said already, I thought that was really interesting, and it was cool to stack it all and add and subtract and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
While I'm sad to say that our show is drawing to a close, I think we can fit one more game in. Sebastian, you want to start out with our final board basics?
Sure thing. Our final game today is Santorini, a family-friendly strategy game that best suited for 2 players. Designed by Gordon Hamilton and published by Roxley, in the game, players take on the role of competing gods, commanding their workers to build and climb in their honor. To start the game, each player will place their 2 workers on the 5x5 grid that makes up the board. On your turn, you can move one of your workers to any adjacent place, including diagonals. Then you build on any adjacent place, placing a building block to create a new building or adding a block onto an existing building.
When you move your worker, you can go up exactly 1 level, climbing onto a building. You win the game by moving one of your workers to the top of a 3-level building. However, if someone builds on a pre-existing 3-level building, they place a dome on that building, preventing any workers from standing on it and possibly blocking their opponent from victory.
Santorini is a fun game in its basic form, but it gets even more interesting when you add the 40 God power cards, which give each player a unique power that breaks the game, giving you better builds, additional movement, or even an alternative win condition. It makes for a fun, interesting puzzle and plenty of replayability.
Time to put this mythology-inspired strategy game through the room review. Sebastian, how did you do at Santorini? Actually, you don't even have to say, because I know that I crushed. You lost every time.
Yes. I enjoyed Santorini. I may not understand how to do it, but it was very interesting. I know when you left us, I played against John May, and let me tell you, that was struggling. If you ask him, he would probably say I'm the worst player ever.
Yeah,
I had a win condition, and I did not know what to do.
Yeah. It was unfortunate.
Yeah, it was. So when you were playing, like, how'd you plan on your moves?
I was thinking ahead a lot and thinking about where you could move to make my life harder, and I was trying to prevent that. So maybe that's what you could do next time.
Yes, I gotta play with you more to learn how to, because obviously you're the master now.
Yep.
So, like, how did you interact with me? Like, are we still beefing?
Yeah, honestly, we're still beefing to this day. And I think we will next time we play as well.
Yeah.
But I think we're running out of time with this game.
Yes. Unfortunately, we are. Yes, unfortunately, we are. Like, so if you had to pick out of 4 games, which one was your favorite?
Ooh, I think maybe Gloom, honestly. I liked that we build a story and we had to strategize a little bit.
Yeah, mine was Sorrow, definitely, because it's so fast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so unfortunately, this is all the time we have today on Room and Board. Thanks for joining us for some fun party games, and we hope you learned about a new game that you want to play.
A special thank you to Oshkosh Gaming Society for featuring in our video, and to Polk Library for providing some of our fun games. Stay tuned to the Titan TV YouTube channel for more variety content, and be sure to like and subscribe.